You are listening to the Free Spirit Astrology Podcast. Welcome to the Free Spirit Astrology Podcast. Welcome to a new moon week. I am your host, Brandy Williams. Welcome to Virgo season. Welcome to all the things. I swear time is just flying. I missed y'all. I missed y'all so much. I wasn't here last week and I was having a whole bunch of mindset stuff. For the people I reached out to, if you know, you know, I was having some mindset stuff, but I got a team around me that was like, girl, get your life together. So, but I'm here now. I'm here and ready to get back into the vibes, ready to tell y'all what the vibes of the week are. So, yeah, let's get into that. So, just a quick recap since I wasn't here last week, we had this conjunction between Venus and Jupiter in Cancer. And Venus is our planet of passion, desires, and relationships and money and all the things we feel, we find beautiful. And she was really close to our big, beautiful goddess of blessings, abundance, and philosophy in the bigger picture and travel, which is Jupiter in Cancer, to sprinkle some love on us, which was supposed to be lovely. And for a lot of us, I'm pretty sure it was lovely, but for some of us, we were still in the midst of an opposition between Mars and Libra and Saturn and Neptune, who are both retrograde in the sign of Aries. And so I feel like some of us could have been facing some kind of dilemma or a situation, some reality check, just some kind of block. Cancer is that sign of home and family and safe spaces and emotional safety. And home for me got a little crazy with a plumbing situation. So, that Neptune is about water, right? So, I wonder if anybody else had any type of home plumbing situation, stuff not going down the drain, getting all clogged up because Saturn is that block, denial, delay. So quite literally the astrology was astrologying for me. But me and my husband were together and we were able to kind of laugh things off and say, you know what? We already know like what we know because we be in these transits and we're not going to let that stop us from having a good time, right? Can't control certain things. So, yeah, that's that. And this past Friday, there was this very interesting transit that kind of came back around today. So there was a sextile, which is a 60-degree conversation, which is a harmonious, but sometimes tense. It's a very productive conversation between our thought process and how we communicate, Mercury, who is in Leo, and our assertive principle and how we take action, Mars, who's in Libra. So two masculine signs. One is very diplomatic, one is very courageous and, bravado. Usually contacts between Mars and Mercury can give us a lot of mental energy, a lot of endurance to get something done. There's a lot of clarity and increased ability to be analytical and decisive. And Mars and Libra brings the people. So this is people who help us and want to help us. And these are connections and people getting together and collaborating. So that could have been a thing. Just really getting together and having a really nice diplomatic, conversation. You say your thing, I say mine, whatever, stuff like that. But on the shadow side, there's always a shadow side. We could have felt like people weren't doing things as fast as we would like them to do, which makes us feel impatient. Impatience is definitely a signification of this transit. People weren't responding as fast as we would like, which made us feel a little way. There was also an undercurrent of competitiveness. So if you were in the workplace or between friends and whoever, partners and sisters, there's some little competitiveness going on. Also, Mars and Libra brings the passive aggressiveness when it's out of alignment. And so maybe also the possibility for some sharp words and some argumentativeness. Super energetic, super enthused energy last Friday, taking big action, but also people could have been on some petty shit too. And then that transit separated because Mercury is now direct, but it's picking up speed. It just doesn't go direct and just, goes fast as usual. So because of the nature of Mercury being in the shadow and being direct now, it actually came back to reconnect today with Mars and Libra, which is so funny. It's not a very normal thing to happen, but this could give off the vibes of some type of part two from whatever took place on Friday. And so I wonder if you could recall what happened on Friday that's kind of feeling like it's coming back around today. So today, Monday, August 18th, we could feel like we have a second wind to tackle something. Maybe something kind of frustrated us last Friday and we were like, you know what? I just don't have time. I'm just putting it on the shelf. And then today we say, I'm gonna take another crack at it. And maybe there's a moment of clarification, like, oh, that's what didn't work. Now I know, and I went in and I fixed it, right? So the potential to have more mental clarity, the ability to verbalize something that we couldn't or that we didn't want to last Friday is also a thing, because this is dealing with our assertiveness and our mental abilities and our ability to communicate. We could see some mental sharpness to take action on something or just the courage to speak on something that we didn't have the courage to speak on last Friday. There could be some more passive aggressive, attempts and undertones coming up. But what I really feel in my spirit about this past Friday and coming into Monday for a lot of us is what I like to call post delayed offense effect, which is the slow realization that you were in the midst of some shade on Friday. Somebody said some shady shit. Somebody was acting a certain kind of way. And we didn't take offense to it or we didn't catch it. But then as time started to go by, we said, somebody was on some bullshit. Such and such was on some bullshit last week. And I think I want to readdress that and air it out because I realized that you tried to play in my face and you got life and bullshit all fucked up playing with me like that. But we just kind of want to avoid saying it like that or saying something in a critical or harsh way. I'm not saying to not address something that we noticed last Friday, because by all means, we are stepping in our authenticity. It's time to speak up on stuff or hold people accountable for how they made you feel. But we just want to do it in a very diplomatic way, which is easy for Mars and Libra. Mars and Libra is that diplomatic principle when it comes to asserting ourselves. But Mercury and Leo is like, I might have to say it with my chest. So, if we say something a little sharp when these two are combined or a little harsh, we could miss the mark completely of getting somebody to see our point of view and holding them accountable and vice versa. And so, this is a very fleeting transit. It's not a particularly heavy fight energy, but it is a very courageous call out in some respects, as long as the conversation happens this morning and it's already evening time. By the time you even listen to this and I finish editing it, it's going to be well past the afternoon, the late evening. But the reason why I say it would have been a better time to have a conversation this morning is because the moon was in Gemini, making things a little bit more lighthearted, a little kiki, a little more friendly. And then by 3 o'clock Central Time, that moon is going to go into the sign of Cancer. And it's going to immediately square Saturn retrograde in Aries and Mars in Libra. And, this is a hostile situation. This is a very sensitive situation. And this is a situation where people, they not thinking clearly. Like you're not getting it. And so, we that's the potential for things to go left and people to get offended and people to stonewall. And, it could just be a reckless, needless altercation. So if you're listening to this and you are in an altercation this evening, a verbal altercation, I mean, it's not really your fault because you didn't know. But also, fuck it. It's eclipse season. We in a pregame for eclipse season, and we're shedding. We're with the North Node and South Node. This is fated karmic sheddings and new beginnings. So, I mean, everything is a lesson, right? All right. So we're gonna move on. Now, Tuesday, August 19th, the moon is still gonna be in Cancer, and there's gonna be a beautiful conjunction between the moon, Jupiter, and Venus. And I feel like this could be a really wonderful day. This is a great day to connect with family, your soul tribe. It's really supportive. There could be good news. You could have gotten a job. You could have booked another client. something that you've been looking at can go on sale. And I mean, it's just a really good day, really good vibes. I don't feel like it'll be a round two of what we thought last week was supposed to be because we don't have that opposition happening right now. But yeah, I feel like we could really have ourselves around people who contribute to our happiness and good vibes. And, we want to be in the present moment to, enjoy this wonderful Tuesday. I would love to know how that works out for you. Also, of course, there's shadow sides. Anytime you have the benefics with the moon together, you just want to be mindful of emotional eating and big snack attacks. Cause I mean, the snacks was snacking last week and they're going to snack this week too. And, overindulging and shopping and stuff like that. That is definitely a tendency to overindulge, overdrink, being in all the pleasures. We don't want to do anything out of alignment. So, just be mindful for uh overdoing something. And so that's really all that's happening until we get down to Friday, August 22nd. So around 3:30 p.m., the sun is going to leave the sign of Leo and it's going to enter into the sign of Virgo. And then it will be joined by the moon the very next day for that Virgo new moon. But first, let's talk about this ingress into Virgo. Happy birthday to all my Virgos. I love y'all. Life is so much better with you guys. You make everything amazing to me, in my opinion. Some people might not agree, but I think you guys are great. And so Virgo is a fellow earth sign of me being a Capricorn. And Virgo is heavily associated with our sacred present moment, our sacred daily routines. Virgo thrives in leading us to exist easily in the present moment by taking these sacred practical steps, small action steps, being very analytical, weeding out any excess and where, things are not necessary so that we can have this fluidity in life. So that things can run smooth on a day to day basis, checklists, daily routines. This is the energy of taking our vitamins and eating good food, good live foods that make us feel good. This is the energy of like yoga and really tapping into mind body connections and centering the self when it's in its alignment. Virgo centers the self so that it can provide a great service to others. And so I wouldn't be surprised if this week we had this increased desire to jump back into some of these routines, to declutter something at home, to bring out the kettlebells and the exercise balls and get back into a health routine, to reactivate a gym membership, to pull out our sea moss and our vitamins. I definitely pulled out my chlorophyll and limes to have my super green water before I take anything else. And I cleaned up extra much this Sunday, even though I always have a weekend cleanup routine. But, yesterday I was really pulling out the drawers and stuff like that and letting the Virgo vibes seep into my soul. So, we could also be reevaluating and reprioritizing our daily routines and what we give energy to, what we've been paying attention to, and really noticing some things that have been out of alignment that are throwing a wrench into our systems. So I think that Friday we want to set intentions for this new moon, write down your goals and script the things you want to call in and the new things you want to begin, and think about the new health regimens you would like to be a part of and some of the things that you want to eliminate, and really plant those seeds and meditate on that, because the very next morning, very early in the morning, about 1 o'clock Central Time, we're going to have that new moon in Virgo. It's actually the first of two new moons this Virgo season, which is extremely rare. We call that a black moon. The sun and moon will be together like it is for every new moon. So there's going to be complete darkness in the sky at about 0 degrees and 23 minutes of Virgo. So we know that there's something that wants to begin, because that 0 degree is an action step of new beginnings. And there's also going to be something ending, because we are co present with the south node of the moon that is also in Virgo, not close enough to be an eclipse, but close enough to know that we are in a pre game of eclipse season that is going to take place with the Pisces full moon September 7th. So, being co present with the South Node means that we are walking away from something, and it's something that feels good, and familiar and easy, but not good for us, that is out of alignment, something that is blocking us from getting on the good foot that we've been trying to get on. So when we think about this new moon in Virgo, we are setting intentions for a sacred daily routine. Our systems of operation are wanting some type of cleanup or upgrade. Our health and wellness, things that influence our digestion, because Virgo rules the digestive and GI tract. How we labor and service other people, and whether that's in alignment or is that in excess. How we analyze information. Do we have all the details? And of course, the shadow side is being too focused on having all the details, knowing all the steps, to the point that we become self critical, we become critical of others, and then we begin nitpicking, needing to have control, and really in our heads in perfectionism that eventually spirals into anxiety because we are not integrating into the present moment, doing the mind body connection, which is pausing and stepping, stopping when we need to stop, and breathing and moving our body so that we can push that energy through the energy meridians. So if you work with your chart, you know exactly what part of life this Virgo energy is taking place in. But if you don't work with your charts, all good. You just really want to tap in, meditate, tap into the mind and body, pay attention to what that is telling you, and really ask yourself, where am I slipping on the details in a specific part of life? Where am I overly consumed by one thing and neglecting another? Where do I need more sustainable systems? Where am I over sacrificing myself? Where am I being a martyr? How am I not taking care of myself? And what is my body saying to me in response to that? What is my brain saying to me in response to that? Am I not getting enough sleep? What am I focused on that is out of my control? And how can I break something into small practical action steps to get to the goal that I want to get to? Um, is this thing that I'm putting all this time, effort, and energy into really worth my time? Can I delegate something? Do I need to ask for help? How can I make something more efficient and lighter so that my load on a daily basis feels good and I don't feel like I need to escape my life? And so this is not a time to criticize yourself, because I guarantee you, whatever part of life you have Virgo in, you already do that. You do that with ease. So that's the comfortable, amazing thing that you've been doing that we need to walk away from. So this is a time to be very kind and compassionate to self, right? Because we're unlearning. It's all about unlearning the things that we were conditioned to do, and to see, like, how can I put myself into equilibrium in my present moment? Where am I being so consumed by the past, which is affecting my present moment? Where am I being taunted by the future, which is robbing me of my present moment? And how can I come back into the sacred now? So this Virgo new moon will be in a tight square, which is a 90-degree tense situation, a standoff with Uranus and Gemini. And Uranus is that principle of, I came to break you out of some shit. Light bulb moment, flash, news flash, or I know that this is going to be a little shocking. I came to electrocute your ass so that you can get up, because you're not going to do it unless I destabilize something. So when we see this tight square from Uranus and Gemini to this new moon, look at this as a divine catalyst or a cosmic messenger of what needs to change. Just in case you didn't know, the moon gonna have a little reinforcement, right? Because all the outer planets are actually speaking to each other right now, because they are in a collective shift. We are all collectively leveling up and shifting and waking up out of the things that are really trying to keep us in these boxes. So Uranus and Gemini is going to bring clarity and divine messages on how we could have lost the plot due to perfectionism, where we have been over sacrificing ourselves, where we have been neglecting something in our daily routines, health and wellness, and what type of habits have we picked up to deal with the anxiety of something not being efficient. It's feeling so out of alignment that we need to, like, buffer to keep this shit up. And yeah, how can we honor that check engine light that's coming on, for us, so that we can notice what's gone astray and take this opportunity not as, why is this happening to me, but why is this happening for me? And thank you for the second chance to make my life exactly the way I want it to be, so that I can live a simpler, easier life. And something could be more sustainable. We also have Venus in Cancer squaring Chiron retrograde in Aries. And this is just simply asking us to tend to our wounds first. Definitely, add on to that martyrdom and self-sacrifice that can happen in our Virgo tendencies. You know, Sometimes it's easier to get out of our own heads and our own boats to go fix other people. And it's easier to criticize other people because we are tired of criticizing ourselves. And it's easier to lecture other people and judge other people about what they're doing. But we're all healers, right? If you're listening to this podcast, you are definitely a healer. Because if you weren't one, you would not be interested in this shit. You'd have been turned it off. But if you made it this far, you're a healer. And you can't authentically be the healer that you're supposed to be, the healthy healer that you're supposed to be, the non codependent healer, or the healer who avoids becoming a narcissistic supply for somebody who is attached to your light until you pour the love into your own wounds, until you tend to your own wounds, until you clean out your house first, and make sure that that home base is taken care of. You're not going to really be able to give that to other people, or it's just not going to be sustainable. You're going to burn out. And then you're going to go into isolation and think that the whole world is fucked up. But really, it's about a boundary. It's about tending to my wounds first so that I can lead by example and teach other people. And of course, what do I always say? Pour from the overflow. So that is what that thing is about, but always with love and compassion because, I mean, hello. The world conditioned us to like jump outside of ourselves to be super stable motherfuckers for other people. And it's just like, this shit ain't gonna work because I gotta be my true self and I'm on the verge. And so if you're listening to this podcast, which is only about 10 of y'all, and I love it because I love y'all. I feel y'all energy. We a family. You're my soul tribe. But if you're listening and if you made it this far, I just want to let you know you are on the verge of evoking something massive in your life. I can sense it, I can feel it, and I hope that you can sense it and feel it. I hope that you know that something is about to happen for you bigger than you can imagine. I ain't gassing you up. I'm telling you, this is a download right now in real time. But in the meantime, get out of other people's shit. I pulled the Hermit card that says get out of other people's energy so that you can come back to your own intuition and you can hear the next step because it ain't wrapped up in hustling. It ain't wrapped up in trying to make all the things your intuition is speaking to you, but you can't hear it because you too big, you in too many entanglements. So get out of that and get into your own journey. Update your own sacred routines. Declutter the things around you so that you can declutter all the messages that's swirling in your own mind. Provide yourself with everything that makes you feel alive, that love the body. Eliminate the things that rob you of your health, of your money, of your time, of your energy, of your life force. Because some things we feel comfortable being attached to, but when you feel drained and pruned like a sun-dried tomato, that's a message, right? We want to stop bypassing the messages. We want to pay attention, but you can't pay attention if you out there hustling all the time. Sometimes time to sit your ass down. Okay, I love you. That's what love, baby. That's what love. Amy, love you. Best friend, love you. But I'm just saying, I'm just a messenger. This not even me talking. This probably one of your spirit guides. We want to accept all the parts of ourselves, like you accept all the broken, nasty, flawed parts of everyone else. How you accepting everyone else, but you not accepting you? How you accepting and making excuses for other people, but you can't accept the broken and flawed parts of you? You was made beautifully and perfectly in the image of the most divine. And it's time to know that so that you can actually know when you're winning. Some of y'all is winning right now and don't even see it because you're too busy wondering when you're gonna be perfect, and that shit doesn't exist. Right. So accept all the parts of you, accept every part of yourself, and be fully creative and fully relaxed in the present moment versus being haunted and taunted and tormented by the past or the future. Because all we have is right now. And now I'm gonna get off my soapbox and I'm gonna disconnect from spirit who was yelling at y'all because it wasn't me, because best friend love you. And I'm not gonna yell at you at all, okay? But yeah, I'm signing off. I'm signing off. We'll talk about Venus going into Leo next week. I'll leave that for next week. Still got a little big Leo energy. It's time to shine. It's time to put something on the stage. So get ready. This week is all about getting something ready because we finna do our big one. And I just want to let you know I love you and I'm here for you and I'm rooting for you. And if you want to reach out and talk to me, you know where to find me. I'm going to leave my information in the show notes. So, signing off for this week. Bye. You are listening to the Free Spirit Astrology Podcast.